Full disclaimer, if you're expecting like a super in-depth breakdown, this might not be the video because my mind's all over the place. I don't even know what to think right now. We just got done episode 4 of Ahsoka titled Fallen Jedi, and already the entire episode I thought was great. It was like my favorite episode so far, just a ton of action, super little interesting stuff that I'm probably gonna forget throughout this video because the ending, literally, like, when you watch the reaction video, that I had tears in my eyes. Like, I can't function. We're obviously gonna jump around because I can't just talk about this whole episode and then wait to talk about the ending. Like, let's just get into it. For the first time in live action, we legitimately had Ahsoka Tano face to face with Anakin Skywalker. Let's just end the video because I don't even know what else to say. Like, Ahsoka's fighting Baylan, and this was like a wild ass. I thought it was a wild ass theory. It was like one of those theories that like made sense, but like was just starting to come up in the last few days, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, if anybody's gonna do something like that, Dave would do it, but like I just don't really see it happening. And it was the whole Ahsoka basically dying in her own show, which she has died before, like in the Clone Wars, and then basically I think they allude to it in Rebels, but then she gets pulled out from the world between worlds, whatever. But she's died before, technically. People are saying she's a freaking Mortis god, which is like makes a lot of sense. But Baylan and Ahsoka are having a badass lightsaber battle. Ahsoka gets knocked off this ledge by Baylan, who's fighting super aggressive, and I just absolutely love it. We'll talk about it more. And then we get this whole, we get like 4 or 5 more minutes between Baylan, Shin, Sabine, all that stuff, Hera, all that stuff. We end this episode with Ahsoka waking up in the world between worlds, and I'll be honest, I thought they were just gonna end it right there. Like, I just thought she was gonna wake up and then it was gonna end, and then we kick off the next episode with like where we left off, obviously. But Ahsoka wakes up in the world between worlds, which we basically knew we were gonna get in live action this series, and she's kind of holding her head, which makes me think she kind of maybe she got knocked out and she's not necessarily dead, but I think she has to be dead. I don't know. I'm sure there's gonna be a bunch of theories and more videos talking about it. The point is, she's in the freaking world between worlds, and she wakes up, and faintly you hear, "Hey, Snips," and I'm like, no. Because, like, we all thought episode 5, that's the earliest we're going to see Anakin. That's the next episode Dave Filoni's directing. You know, that's over halfway during the season so far. Like, we obviously knew Hayden was going to be in this show eventually. But we hear faintly, "Hey, Snips." And then she's kind of holding her head. She's like, "Master?" And then we hear Anakin say, "I didn't expect to see you here that soon, or so soon, whatever." And Ahsoka turns around, and there he is. There he is. Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker, Revenge of the Sith outfit, with a couple of things missing. Sith eyes, obviously. A scar, no, not there, on his face. And, and it was just a super emotional 30 seconds. And Ahsoka turns around and sees him and is just like, "Anakin?" And then Anakin smiles. It cuts back to Ahsoka. And then the episode ends, and like, it's just beautiful. So we leave episode 4 with this super emotional scene between Anakin and Ahsoka, and like, it just trumps the rest of the episode, which was so good, man. Like, they could have not even given us that at the end, and I think this was the best episode yet. So many minute things that, again, I'm gonna forget. We're gonna have to break down in other videos this week that I absolutely loved. The action was great. Marrok disappears into dust, so that theory was correct. Sabine doesn't use the Force. Shin doesn't die. They go into hyperspace. It's just, this episode was so freaking good. You know, we've been saying it on the channel. And this is why we keep saying it on the channel. In Dave we trust. You think any of those freaking moronic directors from the sequel trilogy, or the people that wrote the Obi-Wan show, or the Andor, fuck all those people. I don't care. They could all suck one. I don't care. In Dave we trust. This is Star Wars, dude. And you know what? It's not even just Star Wars. It's expanding upon Star Wars. It's not, hey, we're gonna make a good guy and he's gonna fight the new bad guy and the good one's gonna win and then we all go home. Like, no, it's not that. Dave Filoni is taking what is there and he's broadening the spectrum. I said it during my reaction video, and not that it has to do with the story, it just has to do with the visuals, but like there's been so many cool visuals in this show that just make everything feel very, very big with a lot of elbow room. It's not like Obi-Wan Kenobi where the camera's like this shaking the whole time and you can't even tell what's going on and it looks like they filmed it freaking next door. Like this is what Star Wars needed, man. And you know what I'm really excited about? You know what I'm freaking excited about this episode? Is that after that ending, the world is gonna be talking. You know, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think, did the best numbers. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did the best premiere numbers when that came out. And that was because of 2 reasons. And one of those, spoiler alert, ain't Reva. It was because of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. So when word gets out to the casuals, to the normies that aren't even watching this show, that Anakin is officially back in this episode, and then he's going to be in next week's episode, and maybe we'll get some more of them, who knows, that's going to bring some more attention in. Star Wars is getting the juice that it needs, dude. I love this episode. And like, there's a couple of things to discuss here. Like, I don't know if that was technically like Force Ghost Anakin or not. Like, it's so just like mind blurred right now. Like, I don't even know what to think, because like Anakin being in the world between worlds in this sense, like, I'm confused on that. Not that it doesn't like make sense, because again, maybe that's like Force Ghost Anakin. He did look a little blue. I gotta go back and watch it, but like there are some questions there. But like, what are we gonna see next week? Like, is Ahsoka and Anakin about to take a walk down that path and look into the different portals, and Anakin's basically gonna explain to Ahsoka that she can't change anything? Like, and we saw that alluded to basically in this episode. One thing that was mentioned, I think it was in episode 2, and we talked about this, I believe, in the prediction video for this episode or whatever it was, but like, there was a line said between Ahsoka and Hera where Ahsoka basically blames herself for what happened to Anakin. And then this episode comes, we have Ahsoka and Baylan, which we obviously knew we were going to get. We get some dialogue between them. This was the episode where we got Baylan saying everyone in the Order knew Anakin Skywalker, but very few lived to see what he became. But then Baylan also mentioned how Ahsoka walked away, and like, again, basically blaming Ahsoka for the fall of Anakin Skywalker, which again only infuriated Ahsoka. Then there was another line as they're battling, which was an epic lightsaber battle. Baylan super aggressive in his fighting, and you can tell just super powerful, man. There's several points in that fight where he's backing down Ahsoka. So like, we still know very little about Baylan's backstory. We saw a couple of things throughout this episode where he's still unsure of himself, and still, he says he lost faith a long time ago. All this stuff that we need to know more of. But Baylan says a line to Ahsoka, and I got it written down here. He's got her backed up like against one of the rocks, and he says, "Your legacy, like your master's, is one of death and destruction." And that just fired up Ahsoka, backed Baylan down, knocked him on his ass, and that's when she grabs the map, then drops it because it's probably 1,000 degrees and her hand's burnt. Baylan and Ahsoka start fighting again. Shin rolls up. Anakin's like, oh my god, she killed Sabine. Ahsoka force pushes Shin into one of the rocks, which knocks her out, and that was the shot we saw in one of the trailers last week where we all thought, oh great, Shin's gonna die. Shin baddie's taking one for the team. That's not what we want, Dave. But she's still alive. Sabine ends up walking up, and this bitch can't pull the trigger, dude. She can't get rid of the map, which they talked about earlier in the episode, like Ahsoka telling Sabine, like, yo, you gonna be able to do this? Because like, if we can't go get Ezra and Thrawn in this new galaxy, like, nobody can. So like, it's either us or we gotta destroy that map. And Ahsoka at this point is like, destroy the map. So Sabine literally is I need something to hold. She's literally, this pumpkin's gonna be the star map. She's literally got it like this, and she can't pull the trigger because she knows if she blows up that map, then Ezra, bye-bye, never gonna see him again. And Sabine can't handle that. And then what happens from here? Baylan gets one good shot on Ahsoka, like, kind of looked like he might have hit her arm or something like that, but Ahsoka didn't have any wounds in the world between worlds, yet neither did Anakin. Like we talked about, he didn't have his scar, so maybe those don't technically show up. I don't know. He didn't like cut a limb off or anything, but point is, he hit Ahsoka hard enough where she took a fall off that cliff and evidently died. And then we get this awesome scene of Baylan pressuring Sabine to give him the map because he's promising that she will see Ezra again. And Sabine in that moment, super emotional as she's been this entire time. Now Ahsoka just probably died right in front of her. Now she's thinking thinking about Ezra. Everybody else that she, like, loves is, like, gone besides Hera. And Baylan's promising Sabine, like, you give me that map, I will take you with me, no harm will be done, and you will be reunited with Ezra Bridger. And Sabine gives this dude the map, and then she gets locked up by Shin, and Shin's just bullying her the entire time, just like pushing her in the back, just like, get the fuck off the ship, you bitch. I'm sorry. But then they're up on the hyperspace ring, Morgan Elsbeth, Baylan, Shin, Sabine in handcuffs. But as that's happening, what we saw earlier in the episode is what one of the things I predicted was that Hera was basically going to disobey her orders and was going to take a little bit of a fleet to go see what was going on. And eventually she finds Hu Yang, gets to Cetos, and then tries to cut off the hyperspace ring from going into hyperspace, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They go anyway, and they're all like, holy shit, she actually pulled the trigger. So at this moment, Hera, the Carson dude who we saw in Mando, one of the New Republic guys, unfortunately didn't see Zeb. I still want to know where Zeb's at. Hopefully we see him soon. I was wondering in this episode, like, yo, where's my guy Zeb? Like, we're 4 episodes in, where's he at? But like a couple of the X-Wings get blown up. Hera, obviously in the Ghost, is still good. I think the Carson dude's still good. They literally just watch this thing go into hyperspace and on their way to the new galaxy, other galaxy, wherever, to find Thrawn and Ezra and whatever's gonna happen over there. And they're all just shook. And then, yeah, that's when they cut to the ending with Ahsoka and Anakin. And listen, it was just freaking beautiful from there. Some of the other things that I loved about this episode was the double battle in the Redwoods. Ahsoka officially diced up Marrok, and the theory was true. Literally nobody. He obliterated to dust, and then you just saw his armor fall. So we'll see what's gonna happen there. A little bit of Night Sister magic maybe created Marrok. I don't know. We talked about it in a whole nother video the other day. I can't even think straight right now, so like we're not even gonna dive into it. I did really like Shin and Sabine's fight because again, Sabine was almost fighting very defensively. If you watch it back, Shin was backing her down a lot, and Sabine was more surviving than thriving, if you will, in this fight. And eventually she gets force pushed into a tree. Her helmet gets knocked off, which she wore, and then it got knocked off, which I like that little thing there. And then right before Sabine gets knocked down again, we get this shot of Sabine's helmet, and it kind of pans to it, and in the background is Shin and Sabine fighting. And I almost thought it was like foreshadowing, if that's the word, like Sabine leaving her Mandalorian roots behind to become a Jedi. Maybe that was just me. But eventually Sabine gets knocked down, gets the lightsaber knocked away from her, tries to use the Force, which we saw that might be a thing, and nothing happens. Shin like flinches for a second, thinking something's gonna happen, and then looks at Sabine like, you got no power. And then Sabine like shoots a rocket at her to get her off her. And eventually Shin ninja smokes and gets out of there. And it was just an awesome fight, man. And especially the music during that, when they were going back and forth between Ahsoka and Marrok, and then Shin and Sabine, and then the music during Ahsoka and Baylan was freaking great. There was one point during the Baylan Ahsoka fight where it felt very prequels vibes with the music, man. It was excellent. Yeah, and honestly, I don't even know what else to say. Like, that ending just left me on such a freaking high that has been so needed. Like, you know what the funny thing is, and this is the last rant I'll go on, like, I wasn't even on this much of a high, and I'm not BSing here. I was not even on this much of a high when the Obi-Wan show was coming out, because, like, the whole time that show was coming out, I felt like I was just trying to make myself enjoy it, because I was like, dude, it's Obi-Wan, it's Anakin, it's Darth Vader, and there were moments of that show with those characters that I loved, but then like everything else was just like pissing me off left and right. And I look back, like I will not go back and watch the show. I might watch a clip on YouTube here and there, but you're not going to see me going back and watch the show. Like, I wanted that to be good so bad, and it just wasn't. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because now I feel like we're getting Star Wars that feels like Star Wars, and that's getting me excited, and that hopefully is getting a lot of other people excited. And we're seeing Anakin. Hell, we might even see Obi-Wan through the World Between Worlds, through one of the portals, but like new footage, not just like, oh, they edited the Revenge of the Sith stuff into a portal thing. Like, no, he might actually be there in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. We still might get some kind of flashback with Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Captain Rex during the Clone Wars. How sick would that be? Yeah, man, I don't even know what else to say. We're definitely gonna make some more videos this week as we start to get our thoughts together and really break everything down that we saw in episode 4, man. But this was just, it was a masterpiece. I honestly think, like, maybe it's a toss-up, I don't know, but like, this may be my personal favorite episode of any live-action Disney Plus show so far. Like, obviously, there's a couple Mandalorian Season 2 episodes that are phenomenal, especially the season finale with Luke, but this one just hits more home to me, man. I'm a prequels Clone Wars kid, seeing Anakin and Ahsoka face-to-face in live action, Hayden Christensen himself, like, I don't know, man. Like, this just hits more home for me. I think it honestly is my favorite live-action show, favorite live-action episode of a Disney Plus show so far. I freaking love this episode. It was 10 out of 10. And one more time for this video, say it with me now. Put it in the comments down below if you made it this far. In Dave we trust. Guys, go check out my reaction videos that went up right before this if you want to see me get a little bit teary-eyed during the Ahsoka Anakin scene at the end. And definitely be sure to stay tuned to the channel, turn those notifications on, be sure to like and subscribe on your way out, and go follow me across all social medias at Noah Nation Vlogs. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Ahsoka show just as much as I did, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!
This is Rogue 2. This is Rogue 2. Commander Skywalker, do you copy? This is Rogue 2.